And that's just 5 whole seconds that only Twitch gets. Pure Twitch action. Pure Twitch action all the time. Ugh. Kind of like, I don't know. I just really like sour shit. It's like salad dressing. I will only eat Italian salad dressing. The rest of that shit, the rest of those salad dressings, even when they have not bad flavors, when it's like, oh, this tastes awful, it tastes wrong if it doesn't at least like a little bit sour, or that the Italian tang to it. I can't the rest. The only other one I can kind of do is ranch, and that's not even on salads. It's either ranch or Caesar. Caesar I can do on salads, but it has to have the chicken. I don't know why. It only works on chicken Caesar salad or whatever the hell that is. And if it's ranch, it doesn't even go on a salad. That goes on like pizza occasionally, rarely. One time I gave myself just the worst. Do not have buttermilk ranch on a greasy cheap delivery pizza. You are going to deliver yourself to the bathroom for the remainder of the evening if you do this. And I have learned this through personal experience. Those do not mix together well. just a little bit of learning. Little bit of learning from me to you. Italian plus ranch equals creamy Italian. This might be why I can accept ranch. I like ranch on my cheap, greasy pizza. No. Pay attention to what I said. Not ranch. Buttermilk ranch. The high-fat one. The high-fat buttermilk ranch on an extremely greasy, cheap pizza. Like the cheap pizza that's so thin that the buttermilk ranch you put on it has noticeably and measurably increased the volume of weight on this pizza. Bacon ranch, no. Talk about ass science. Build construction wall. We've made such great progress today. We've rounded the corner. Huzzah. I genuinely don't know what I'm gonna do down here. This is where the power thing is. I have no clue how this is supposed to work for like any of these 3 down here. There's got to be some weird nonsense that I have like manual pumping and I just get rid of the axle and I just make them pump it manually.
Said I can't do it.
No, I think you can. Yeah, Timotei, we've entered the Industrial Revolution. We are using...
No, I can't do it.
So, we are using a grand total of 8 screw pumps to pump water up from an aquifer up 2 Z levels so that it can fall down essentially a sloped, it's not really sloped, but so it can fall down to a pit that brings it back down to that same aquifer. Above the pit where the water is pouring down, we have 20 water wheels attached to an axle so that the water wheels can power the screw pumps to bring up the water to power the water wheels. And the laws of thermodynamics don't apply, so we are generating way more power than we're using. We have 2 axles coming off of that nonsense system, and one of it is what is powering the screw pump so we can get to an aquifer. The other one, which is disabled right now, powers the screw pump that fills the cistern that we use to drown out our murder hospital if we ever end up with a kung flu in there, because we don't want it to spread and they must all be killed. We put a gear linked to a lever to toggle power. I did in fact do this. Infinite energy generator. This ain't possible. No, what's really not possible is one time I did this on a map that was on a beach. It is in the RNG Strategist channel and one of the archive things. I've got to figure out how to duplicate it. If I can figure out how to duplicate it, I can make all the money from the power. The power. No, where I did the same thing, but I was sucking water out of the ocean and diverting some of the water off to create a well of fresh water. And somehow I had created an aquifer. It was made out of completely constructed materials, wood, no stone, no real reason for it to count in any way as an aquifer. But no matter how much water I poured into it, it never overflowed. It literally just absorbed all the pressure somehow. No clue how that worked at all. And it just did. And it was amazing. And if I can figure out how to do that again, you better believe I'm gonna start flooding every frickin' forum post. What are you, China? What are things in Dwarf Fortress can use excess power for? Now that is a good question. There's oddly enough a few, yet not a lot. Which sounds like it's the same thing. There are quite a few things that you can use it for, though in the end result is not a lot. I think I said it better the second time. Let me get rid of these. Build machine. Okay, so the primary two things you would use power for are screw pumps, free movement of liquids, and rollers for minecarts. I think that's what rollers are for. Those are your two primary things. This is basically it. However, you could. Where's the mill? There are like 3 other things you can use it for regularly. Where is? Why can I not find it? Build workshop. I think it's a quern. Quern or millstone can be powered, so that will turn things into flour. And what's the other one? I know there's another one. Is it the screw press? Might be the screw press. But in terms of great grandiose things, you'll be powering a whole hell of a lot of screw pumps and rollers. That's really kind of what it comes down to. Trying to think of there's something else. I feel like there's one more thing, but I can't remember what it is. Am I crazy? I thought there was one more thing. Quern equals hand power, mill equals powdered. Okay. I haven't done flour in ever. I think I did it once my entire time playing Dwarf Fortress. Kind of don't understand what the point is. Build workshop. The millstone is the powered one. So you don't have to do it yourself. Sanctum, I don't know what you're talking about. What do I mean, portable drain? That's good. That's good acidic water. Ugh. See, the people who fucking sell that weird, stupid water and like, oh, this is basic water, so it's better for you. They're fucking wrong. I have no scientific evidence to back up my claim, but they have no scientific evidence to back up their claim either. So I'm just gonna go with acidic water is the best, and nasty fucking basic water is bad. Well, windmills aren't powered; they are a source of power. So long ago, I suggested making a giant pit in the middle of the Triforce. You said, yeah, but is that plan out the window now? Would be cool. Timotei, that's what we're doing. Timotei, this is literally what we're doing. I'm having to go through an aquifer. That's 100% what we've been doing all stream, is trying to do the pit. You have to remember, dude, all of this leaks water for at least 2 Z levels. I can't just dig through it. This is literally what our life has become, is the pit idea. You said track stop, dump to wall. Any water pressure filling the minecart will dump water to wall. No, but I didn't do that. Literally, mine was just a body of water. I don't know if you were here for that one, Sanctum, or if you remember what I'm talking about, but literally it was just a bowl. I just dumped water into a bowl. It was a completely open bowl, and the water just disappeared. See, every time I try to describe this to people, everyone is like, okay, you know, maybe this or that, but no, that's not what I did. I had one source of water, take from the ocean, and then pump it into a big bowl, right? And then to make sure that I could power, these would be like the water wheels up here. To make sure I could power those water wheels, I had another screw pump there, and I dumped it into another bowl. This bowl goes around a corner a bit, but there's nothing interrupting everything. So now there's a top-down view. That bowl only ever did this. There's nothing else involved. It's all constructed, no natural floor, no fucking nothing. And this would dump there, and I was going to be building a thing to get rid of the water so I wouldn't kill my dwarves. However, all the water entered this and immediately disappeared. Like, it never went above 1Z level of depth. It just disappeared. And this, I mean, I don't think I had that. This was all fucking artificial in that stream. And it just took it. I literally created an area that somehow was an aquifer. It took the pressure. It stayed permanently at 7 out of 7 depth. It was really weird. No, not marker, standard. Well, the piping, which is it's the axle, I'm using that to power the screw pumps. Because otherwise you run the risk of, you can power a screw pump with power, or you can have a dwarf doing it manually. If you have a dwarf doing it manually, he sits there until he's fucking exhausted and he's about to die of dehydration and shit. And then he's just like, screw this, I'm done. And he just bounces. So you get the negative thought on the dwarf having to do it 24/7. And if there's someone down there working when he bounces, suddenly they're in 7 out of 7 water and they drown. So this is just to make sure I'm doing this safely. That's all this is. This will be gone from the final product once I get through the 2 layers. As a matter of fact, when I get down here, this is in the way, so I'll need to remove this and have some that are hand powered and just get through as little as I need to get through with it being hand powered. And or really what it is it's for dwarfy projects. So for earlier, the question earlier, if you're doing unlimited power or you generate unlimited power, why would you do that? It's to have something going 24/7. So again, it comes down to, you're basically at that point just doing screw pumps, but it's mist generators, which is essentially a waterfall, which is gonna be the next thing, waterfall, if you want to get water flowing down something. Bringing magma up, it's a way to do it safely. Like I said, there are a lot of things to do with it, but oddly enough, only a few things to do it with infinite power. Night with Chulu. Odd question. I apologize if I sound crazy. Are you just a Chulu with a new name? Is that who thing powered by the 1 line of water? Yes. Everything is powered by this 1 line of water. I will explain the math in a second. Your pump operators still get strength buff. No, they don't. That's the issue. I would have them doing it normally, but the Toady one got rid of buffing strength that way, so there's no reason. Who? I'm gonna guess no. Welcome to stream, Night Witchulu. There is a viewer who is occasionally on and occasionally not, whose currently name is anything else, whose name is Tuchulu, but he changed his name to Chulu. And then someone told him to change his name to anything else, so he literally changed his name to anything else. Your name was Night Witch. So I figured that you might have actually been Chulu, but I couldn't tell. I think I hit the button for all the right ooh-woos. All these streams I've watched, you never had a problem with invasions, forgotten beasts going wild in your fort. There's some okay, so no, this is not a creative fort. As a matter of fact, I am on an evil biome and I do get attacked occasionally by undead things. Couple things. One, I as a streamer am cursed, and the number one thing that always attacks me are lycanthropes and werewolves. As a matter of fact, a bit ago, Kit Fox Games and Bay 12 Games wanted, I think on Reddit, or in their forums, I forget where it was, they basically asked people to weigh in on things that could screw over new people and or might make the game more annoying in the long run. Like what isn't really a glitch, but probably isn't working as intended. And I legit discussed how many lichens I get to such detail and how tired I am of effing freaking were creatures that you notice in the latest patch, they changed how were creatures work. Like, I don't think I was the only one who weighed in on that, but I'm willing to bet I was the most detailed about the exact problems and how it could be fixed. Because one of the things I went on was how you get slammed at 20, and that is not a new player creature because I can end the whole base. And I went into extreme detail about my hatred for were creatures in this game and how often you get them and how easy and early you get them. And suddenly in the new patch, they put in things for them to be less of a problem. So I'm just saying. That is what I get. How do they get changed? I'll address that one in a second. You're talking about how do you get lichens? Is that what your question is? I'm not sure. But I do get other creatures. I have gotten a few other creatures on this, and I tend to just kill them. Usually, what my big thing is my base designs tend to be exceptional at turtling, worst case scenario. So I'm able to make sure they don't get me until I'm ready to get them. We do have a few forgotten beasts. I don't know if they're right now. We've been attacked by some forgotten beasts in the cavern layers below, but I know that cavern layer, you cannot destroy a floor grate from below. So while I can see the cavern, nothing from the cavern can affect my base. That's how we broach the cavern layer. If you breach the cavern layer that way, this causes, whenever it rolls for you to get a forgotten beast or something like that, there's a chance it's underground and not above ground. So if one of those happens, I've already skewed the numbers in my favor that they happen in an area that can't affect me until I have to go down there. Now, why are they not still down there? We are partially on an evil biome map, hence the elven blood. So a lot of the things that the forgotten beasts kill down there come back as undead. So the area down below me is slowly filling with undead. And then when we get a forgotten beast, it's not undead and they actually fight each other. So down below me is kind of a 2-man enter, 1-man exit sort of fucking Thunderdome. So that's where a lot of them have been dying. The ones up above for this particular map, like giants and trolls or whatever, we do eventually have to go out there and fight. But our base, we've gotten lucky and we've made 3 artifact doors. An artifact door cannot be destroyed. So if they're a land walking creature, they can't get in because of this door. If they are a flying creature, they can't get into my base because of this door. You'll notice there is no other way into the main base. The door over here where I'm generating power from is also protected by an artifact door. I am literally non-siegeable. I can be surprised if someone gets through one of those doors. It can cause an issue and I can be surprised, but this is why I'm not worried too much about military. Artifact doors and a floor grate, I can't be attacked until I want to be attacked. Now, if it is like a Titan or some big creature up here, I do eventually go out and fight them and we lose a bunch of dwarves doing it. That's mostly so I can get merchants and shit. As for invasions, they have a similar issue. I set up the bridge. Let me load up Armok Vision. I will show you what this bridge looks like. But I have set up this bridge in such a way, I will just do it non-windowed. Let me save first. I've set up did that go through? That didn't go through. I've set the bridge in such a way that trade caravans can easily come in, but non-trade caravans can't. And it's just the physics of how they work as units. And as soon as it's done saving, I'll load Armok. It's just Armok vision sometimes makes the game less stable. What changes were made in the latest update? Hold on, I'll load them up. Basically, at world creation, you can change when you get attacked by him. It's roughly mentioned, but it says changed where creature trigger conditions. Now in world creation, you can change two things. One, you can change exactly how many units before where creature can assault, starting from like 20 and going up to like 10,000 dwarves or something like that. So you can basically make it so you can't get attacked from outside. And they changed lichens to where before anyone could get cursed with lycanthropy if they destroyed a statue in a temple. Now they can only get cursed with lycanthropy if they attack their god's statue in a temple. Yes. And again, part of my descriptor was pointing that out, that even in Masterwork, I would get rid of every single lichen and make sure that there was no chance of lichens for how much I hated them. But in World Generation, some dude would topple the statue and the lichens would be brought back anyways, regardless of my settings for lichens. But this is the front door bridge system. So even though this is completely open, it's actually immune to invaders. This is why the ground is also floored over. This looks completely brown in the game because of how it renders it, but they're made of different types of wood. So Armok reveals that it doesn't look as nice as we think it does right now. When I get through the aquifer, we'll be able to dig and get gold, and I'm gonna switch the brown parts of the Triforce to gold, so it'll be a real Triforce. But trade caravans the wagons are a 3 tile by 3 tile unit. So when they go across this and they go down, when they update to move again, they'll have a back, a middle, and a front. This kind of still counts as being up here for purpose of transportation. So a trade caravan can go straight across because they'll be middle, front. When they go across, they don't have to go down because they're still supported by what's back here. Whereas a 1 tile unit, when they go forward, they cannot physically be standing here. Whereas the wagon could be going over a little bit. They can't be standing here. They count us down here, so they have to go through our artifact door. So this bridge prevents invasions from coming in. Now, I lost my creatures that were tied up. I'll tie up 2 more dogs there. And this gives me enough time to notice something's coming, and I can just lock the door. Close Armok. There we go. It's not a bug. Also, an Army of Undead, it's not a bug so much as it is the way the physics works. Not to toot my own horn or redirect you to things, I will describe it here. But if you want me to describe it along with some other things, including how the fishing system works, Jaguar, and this one can get who doesn't need to eat. We'll just go with a male dog. But it's because of the way building destroyers work, and it's because of how physics in the game works. While basically this was addressed in my last video and my third to last video on YouTube, my College of Dwarfology series, where I go in depth for different topics to explain them. The last video was what exactly is a Z level and explains how all the buildings and stuff work. But namely, when you are in a Z level, you can only really interact with whatever is in your Z level. This dog is on that level. The way the game treats it is he's at that level. When you go up and down, you as a person understand that this is all one big cohesive whole. But like, where's the camera, for instance? Where's the camera when I go up and down a Z level? Where's the camera placed? Because I'm having to look at something. Like, there has to be a coordinate system to identify where the camera is. The camera exists at the points that are between Z levels. Like, there's an infinitesimally small layer that exists between Z levels that I referred to in the video as the camera space. The camera space is nigh impenetrable to most anything else. You can move from one Z level to another through ramps and stairs. That's because a ramp or a stair is doing a weird calculation, and it itself, the terrain, is breaching that camera space. You do not necessarily get to as an entity or a person. You can only be wherever you are. Couple this with the fact that in order to destroy a building destroyer has to be 2 squares away from it. You'll end up in glitches. Like, let's say you have one troll. If the troll ended up right here, he could not destroy this door. Pretend it wasn't an artifact for the argument. He could not destroy the door because he was standing right next to it. They can get in a glitch state. They had to stand 1 square away from something to destroy it. I don't actually know why. So this, coupled with the fact that it's on a different Z level, means that even if you were to take away the Z level aspect of it, they would have to be down from 1 and then also diagonal from 1. But nothing can reach in terms of movement diagonally. So even in that regard, a grate is also still immune to a building destroyer. However, there is a special calculation where they can. If they could reach, if they could somehow technically pathfind to a square that would be viable, they can do it from a non-viable square. So if I had a grate, but the dude could just go up the stairs and be standing 2 squares away from it, then he could stand below it and destroy it, though that is actually a glitch. You see that occasionally when dwarves who can only, hold on. You see that occasionally when dwarves who can only build orthogonally, directly above, below, to left, or right of a building, will sometimes build a building diagonally, even though they really shouldn't be able to. That's because they were able to pathfind to a square where they could, but somehow stopped at a square where they can't. As long as the thing that checks whether or not they could says green, then they can do it, even if they themselves are not in the right place to do it. So if you completely lock off an area and have a floor grate over it, because the enemy cannot pathfind to that, then they cannot destroy it through any of those 3 physical calculations that I mentioned previously. Hopefully that was clear. Sometimes I get lost in the woods. This is why I have the videos on YouTube. If that wasn't clear, this is why I have the videos on YouTube, is because I sometimes get lost and take a weird path trying to explain something. I think I stayed on topic for that though. Build construction wall. How many years deep is this base? Shado Tets, admittedly, I don't know. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I don't know what year I started. I think I started whatever the 250 year was. So let's say 20 years. Isn't there a way to tell? I always forget this. There is a way to tell, and I always screw it up. There is a way to look at history and it tell you. I don't do this one often, so I always forget. I think I've forgotten again. I'm going to assume 250. I'm going to assume that's when I started, and I've been up for 20 in-game years. Gonna try to make my own hand. The doors just put out some planks for the caravans to roll over. This is, you can make whatever headcanon you want. I'm just talking about the physics of how it works. Have you ever used catapults? Yes, I prefer to use catapults. I have a catapult set up here. And if it's not known, and I only point this out because they themselves don't point it out, if you use Lazy Noob Pack, you get DF Hack. So basically, if you use DF Hack, you can hit Q on a catapult and do Alt A, and it gives you a special GUI that you can use to manually aim your catapult, including over multiple Z levels, and it tells you exactly what has a good or hard chance of hitting. Unfortunately, the catapult cannot shoot up over the wall using this system or effectively, so I would need to put this catapult on top of my base for it to work. The blue square area is too close. I think that's what the blue square area is. Too close to hit. Green is can hit. Yellow has difficulty hitting maybe, and red is cannot hit for some reason. So it could shoot up and diagonally and I could aim it, but I can't aim it even using that hack script. I can't have it aim using a ballistic trajectory, unfortunately. But yes, I do use catapults. I do like catapults and they are awesome. That is a good call. Might not necessarily work if people have died, but I do like it. The earliest one we have is one guy still alive from the year 250. So yes, we have gone for 20 in-game years. Brytel has lived since the beginning. Holy shit. Everyone around him has died. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Build construction floor. I forgot about this. These damn trees. Hold on. I just remembered that trees hate me and are going to slowly but surely mean that I can't use any of this space with which to bury dwarves in. So slight side project real quick while I order up a ton of floors. And as soon as I'm done trying to make sure the trees can't ever affect me, we can go back to our regularly scheduled, slowly eating through the ground. Fuck me, I don't have enough logs. That's not good. Not good at all. I can use limestone. Oh, hold on. Build construction floor. I don't know, even better. D. I don't know. Build paved road. I just build a road out of this, and the road can go around the tree. You take a lot less logs this way. So I can't fix the trees that already exist, but I can prevent more. Excuse me. Is that too big? This lasted a lot longer. And apparently I'm going this far out. Okay. Oh, come on. Well, now it's because of these. Hold on. If I remove all this log I was going to waste over here. Now, the big thing is, because I'm doing this out of a road and not a floor, it is no longer a construction, it is a building, which means it is, in fact, vulnerable to building destroyers. That is what I'm exchanging here. Resource efficiency to save myself from trees versus whether or not a building destroyer can destroy this later. I could do this as with a big O, and it would just be a dirt road, but a dirt road would quickly repopulate with plants, and that is what I don't want it to do, so I'm going to be doing this as paved. Yeah, that'll get fixed. Oh, well, canceling that. Oh, no, that is what I just did. I was about to say that didn't get done for some reason. There you go. There are holes in the middle, but I don't care that much. I need it to count as underground so I can put the coffins there that are like 90% caused by a freaking vampire. You know, as long as we're, you know, ready to deal with them. Only 20 years. Dang, that's some efficient dwarves. Why is everyone so goddamn happy? And that one, and they're in a haunted biome, so super efficient. Why don't you just chop the trees? I do. We have auto chop on. It's just, the dude takes his time. The happiness I cannot take credit for. I'm gonna tell you the truth. For this base, and because they kept crying over everyone being dead, including the enemies, I've been cheating up their happiness. But full disclosure on that one, once you get far enough into a base like this, I'm not going to let them throw a temper tantrum. So no credit for Dwarven happiness. Right now, if the dwarves are to be where they want to be normally, admittedly, a bunch of them would be above happiness because they're idle a ton of time, and they're always in either the library, the temple, or the tavern. So they are supposed to be in the happy region. Some of them might even naturally be green, but there are about 4 of them that want to be throwing temper tantrums down in the red zone right now. So there should be an even spread between white and green with 4 people in the red. But the problem is those 4 people in the red will slowly make everyone else stressed until they all kill themselves. And that I have cheated. Build machine. Horizontal axle. Gear assembly. And I know what those numbers are too, because all I'm doing is I'm just setting them back to max and letting them like re-stress to their normal stress levels. And that's about the spread that happens. Like 1, 2, or 3 of them rush down to red after a while, and then the rest of them just kind of meander around the blue area. Oh, you're talking about chop the trees that were over this. I did. But the problem is I dug the hole first. So if you dig the hole, if I chop that tree now, then the hole, if I chop those trees now, after having dug a tunnel underneath them, they will leave a hole where they stand. Even if I cover that hole with a floor, the resulting area will only be inside while still being above ground. You can only build caskets below ground, regardless of their inside or outside status. So I need to cover it to make sure future trees don't grow, just because that's annoying, while also trying to make sure that I've designated the areas that I know where the trees are, if that makes sense. So I don't myself happen to accidentally cut them later. The auto chop dashboard, as we were seeing right there, oh, caps lock is on, is going to chop them for me just because it hates me. But I'm just gonna have to hope that he doesn't, because these have now been dug under and they should basically be not touchable. And we can see here, this man really, really wants to get up in that. All the ones that are inside the floor need to not be touched. You touch anything else, and he just reassigns them. You son of a bitch. Don't you do it. Don't you fucking do it. Part of the problem is the way the game does designations is the first in, last out. Yes. So if auto chop updates the chop command now, as it's the latest chop command, actually. No, I think about that. That's a good point. It should update them all together, and I think that would be up. The last chop command to get put in is gonna be the first one that gets done, basically. So as long as we cleared it, we're good. We will be good. So good. Ooh. Now, where were we in the aquifer? Hadn't started yet, because we're waiting on the mechanic. By the way, how are we in terms of professions right now? Artist, bartender. Okay, we still have 2 brewmasters. What are you missing in clothing? I should have a clothing system. Legs. What was I wanting to look anyways? Oh yeah, grease monkey. We have 2 grease monkeys. What has happened down here? I forget what I did last time to fix this all the way through. No mittens. Sock. No cap. Shoe. Pants are on repeat, I guess. And while we're at it, we'll have the leather guy do some trousers as well. All right, that part's almost nearly done. I wonder, can he do this one now? Is this getting done? It's not active. Don't shoot at me. Constructing building. Which building? Okay, I guess he's going to the right one. I just don't see it saying active. Time to switch to mobile and watch some more Dwarfs for falling asleep. Well, thank you, Timothy. I'm going to stretch. Don't mind me just slowly leaving the camera screen. Don't mind me. We're actually doing great progress. For as much as I've joked about the this aquifer system we're doing, it's only 9. Speaking of which, it's 9. Did we just lose another hour? I think it was at 17 that last broke the recording, but I'll break it now. All right. Everyone say bye to YouTubes.